Welcome everybody. It's a real pleasure to introduce our two excellent speakers, Maryam Sultan, which is the president of the Women in Aviation International Middle East chapter, and the engineer Maryam Al Balooshi, environment engineer of the GCAA. In the next couple of minutes, I will give you a short introduction and I will give you more details about the biography of the two speakers that we have today. And then I will leave the floor to the speakers to continue with this event. Our speaker one is the engineer Maryam Al Balooshi, and she is the first Arab expert in the field of aviation environment and started in 2006. Became the founder of Aviation Environment in the UAE and the region. She is one of the first experts in the world, seconded to the Department of Environment in the International Civil Organization, in the Civil Aviation Organization in 2010. She has been in the UAE official member of the Committee of Aviation Environment Protection since 2016 and became the vice chair of the CAEP in 2023. Her role includes being regional chair and founder of the Aviation Environment Committee of the Arab Civil Aviation Organization in 2010, state lead negotiator for aviation climate change and state COP member since 2010, environment engineer at the General Civil Aviation Authority of the United Arab Emirates since 2010. Maryam is also an author, launching 7 books today, a columnist, a calligraphist, and in 2020 was selected by Van Cleef and Arpels for the first time ever in their history to introduce a calligraphy artwork on the region's values, marrying their values, introducing the Flowers of Values artwork. In 2021, she collaborated with BMFO Group in creating a story artwork to present the limited edition of X7 for the UAE 7th anniversary. Our second speaker is Maryam Sultan, which is a fellow of the Royal Aeronautical Society. She is a trailblazer of the aviation industry, with a career that exemplifies dedication, innovation, and the breaking of traditional barriers. As the editor and co-founder of Ramjet Aviation and Flight Control, she has carved a niche that transcends the ordinary, establishing herself as a formidable force in business aviation. She is also the founder and president of the Women in Aviation International Middle East chapter, a platform where she passionately mentors and motivates women to ascend to greater heights in aviation. Her voice and insights have graced numerous aviation conferences, echoing the need for diversity and inclusion. She holds the distinguished honor of being the Middle East's one of the first female certified FAA GCAA flight dispatchers, a testament to her over 25 years of experience and expertise. Her journey, though, rooted in the realms of finance and accounting, found its true north amidst the intricate dance of flight, plane, and operations.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us today. Thank you so much. I extend my gratitude to the panelists for accepting our invitation, and we're looking forward to listening to some great and inspiring stories. Thank you very much for joining us. So, talking about stories without any further delay, please share your story. Can you please share what was the inspiration behind joining the aviation sector? Ms. Maryam.
I will prefer no address. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And good morning, everyone. As was introduced, my name is Maryam Al Balooshi. I'm not an aviation engineer, by the way. I'm a chemical and petroleum engineer who joined the civil aviation or the aviation sector in 2010 by force. It was not my dream to be in the aviation sector. I thought I would be always in the oil sector. But it happened for a reason. When I joined Dubai Airlines in 2010, I never thought that it would be my journey. And I was so passionate about it, and I will continue all these years to emerge and make it bigger as it is today. So it's not an easy move to move from a sector that you know to a sector that you never studied, you never be familiar with. But because the topic was new, it was a big challenge. When I started the aviation environment in 2010, no one was talking about the environment in the aviation sector. But when you are in the oil sector, it's a top priority. So you can see the difference from a sector that you are considered the top priority to the sector that is not even understanding what's the aviation environment. So it was a big challenge to start there. And as we move forward, today it's a trend of the international organizations as well, the state leaders' big agenda, aviation, environment, climate change, or sustainability, whatever we will call it. So my passion behind continuing this week is that I was looking on the impact that might be in this region, or in the country first and the region. So, and being the first is not a privilege, or it's not something that you just dream about and it will come true. I knew I was the first after 10 years, by the way. So I was the first, I was the founder, but the responsibility was big because it's not about a title that's been given by the government to you, it's about the impact and the challenges and the achievements that you have done through the journey of being the first or the founder. So, as was mentioned in my introduction today, I'm the Vice Chair of the International Committee, the Committee of Aviation Environment Protection in the International Civil Aviation Organization. I'm sure you all familiar with the ICAO. Anyone doesn't know ICAO here? Okay. So, ICAO is the International Civil Aviation Organization where we have 196 states signed the Chicago Convention. And in the ICAO, we have the Council Representative, we have more than, we have 40 member states, UAE is one of them. And within the Council, there's a committee, this is one of the biggest committees in the world. We have 800 experts, and I was privileged to work with those mindset that created the engines of all the things that you are seeing today. So within this expertise, it was not an easy journey to learn what they are doing. So the last 14 years, I was dreaming to be a member, and 14 years to be a member of that organization. But today, to be the first vice chair of the region, it's another responsibility. So ICAO is the organization where all the standards, all the regulations, all the best practices, all the future is built for the aviation sector, including the manufacturing, operation, technology. Fuel today is in the top of the agenda. So this is where we create the future for the aviation, we create the policy, we create the next generation's, let's say, dreams. And whatever you're hearing in the media or in the social media or trending, it's not going to happen unless we approve it there. So it's an organization that you need to know about it more. And it's based in Montreal, ICAO. It's based in Montreal, Canada. So where we flew regularly to meet and discuss all these topics. I don't want to go further on this because it's a lot of things to be said there.
Thank you very much, Ms. Maryam. Moving forward, would you like to share a specific moment that inspired you to join the aviation industry?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Awalan, first, thank you, Maryam. I'm really impressed. You look like a small potato. Usually, I don't like to share my story with anyone, but let me make it very short, so this was a long one. I moved around a lot worldwide. I started with business management, accounting, fashion design, and then I found myself again where my dream is aviation. So I get to start project aviation support. I got my license in dispatch and then piloting. And then I started a company in UK, flight control. And in between, I have started this with my friend Maryam, Women in Aviation with the East Chapter, which we working to motivate and empower women to get into the aviation industry.
Thank you so much. And let's come to the theme for today, aviation and sustainability. So, UAE, GCAA has published a national roadmap for sustainable aviation fuels, which also mentions that we are planning to have 700 million liters of self-production annually. So, please shed some light on that. How can alternative fuels such as biofuels, synthetic fuels contribute to sustainability in aviation? And what are the challenges and opportunities associated with their widespread adoption?
So I think Aisha did her homework. She was reading the national roadmap. Before I go to that specific information, for those who are also present, I'm the safety negotiator for aviation climate change. The profile of the aviation fuel is part of my profile as well. And this is a huge discussion happening since 2018. We want to move from the current jet fuel that is being used in the market to the new cleaner source of energy. So, as you are aware, UAE is a fossil fuel country, and we cannot just jump immediately to a clean energy which is not available. So, first of all, we started a big project, it's a joint project between UAE and Saudi Arabia and the Aramco, and we, with a big group of scientists, created a new project which called lower carbon aviation fuel based on the fossil fuel. This might be in the sample now, but not the details because it's a different chapter. So today we are a country who is working on transitioning the energy to a cleaner energy, but you don't transition immediately. I'm sure that most of you today are studying aviation engineering. Engine performance is one of your big topic, right? So, as a producer or as an aviation sector, we cannot push you guys to move to the cleaner energy without understanding what's going to happen in the engines or the infrastructure of the airports. So we are agreeing with the international global community to start with the low carbon aviation fuel, and we hope it's going to be produced within 2-3 years from now. We are working on certification. I don't want to go to the detail of the technical aspect, but you need to understand that whatever you hear in the media is not an easy topic to be just shared. It's a lot of science behind it that we are trying to make sure that way is leading it. So low carbon aviation fuel is approved, scientifically proved. It's going to be a top-end fuel that will not need any enhancement or changes in the engines. So this is our next step for 2030 to 2050. And when it comes to the sustainable aviation fuel, the next phase of the cleaner energy, it's not an easy one, not just in the UAE, not just in the region, worldwide. I've been witnessing and engaged in such discussions since 2010. And we're proud that we've been always one of the leading states when it comes to the sustainable aviation fuel. Feedstock is an issue, as you like in Aisha and the state action plan, or sorry, the sustainable aviation fuel roadmap of the state. It's published, by the way, the website of the Ministry of Energy. There is 2 organizations leading such transition journey, General Civil Aviation Authority and the Ministry of Energy and Infrastructure with the leadership of the Minister of Energy himself. So we are working with different stakeholders, including ENOC, Sponsor, Khalif University, Boeing, ENOC, Honeywell, lots of Total, Shell, lots of stakeholders to understand what can be done here in the UAE and the region to move to that kind of sustainable aviation fuel. The issue that our airlines as well need to be engaged as well, and they are engaged. But when you talk about the SAP, which is 3-to-1 in the price, it's not the policy that will make them today to jump and buy such a fuel which is not even in the market. There is a big shortage, there is a big demand, and there is a big shortage as well in the supply. So we are aiming to produce the 700 by 2030, but the discussion is still going on. Where is the feedstock? From where we will bring the feedstock, or from where we will bring the big fund that is needed for such investment? How our airports are looking for such change as well, and what is the kind of legislation that will enforce such. So lots of discussion happening in the UAE, the region, international, as I said, it's an ICAO, which is International Civil Aviation Organization. We have an international fuel group as well, which we are engaged in, to make sure that all the sustainability criteria that's being driven by the experts are within our benefits as well. We are making sure the certification part of it to make sure that it's benefiting the state as well grow. You know that we are one of the top aviation sector in the world and we want to continue growing with our understanding our responsibility toward the environment and the reduction of the emission as well.
Thank you so much. That was really valuable insights. I would like to extend a similar question to you. How do you incorporate sustainability practices in ground jet aviation, the services that you provide, in all the initiatives you are part of?
You see, as a round you cannot compare to what Maryam said. You see, Maryam, she's talking on the level of states, countries. We are here talking about, like we are talking about individual steps we take. For example, let's say 15 years back, we start to stop using paper at office. It's only automated, everything automated. Even our server and not in-house, we're using Amazon Web Services to reduce the using of electricity, because you know the server needs a lot of cooling. So we're using Amazon Web Services. This would be outside the country, somewhere in the cloud. That's one of the sustainable way to use. And more or less, let's see, talk about, this is office environment. Office environments is very limited. Not using paperwork, not using that plastic product in the office, make it very friendly environment. But I have a question to Maryam, because since we are here, if you don't mind.
It's your stage.
Yeah, since ICAO is moving to use the green fuel for the aircraft, how long that will take to implement worldwide? Because you know, to do that, that means we need to do a lot of change to the aircraft itself, and that's costly. For me, as an operator, I own an aircraft, that's a big headache for me. So, what's the plan here?
So, are you interested to listen to the story of the fuel and what's the changes that are happening? Because I don't want to go this 2 minutes. Okay.
Get involved. This is very important. Costing money that
She didn't see me for the last 5-6 years, so that's another chance. So, okay, since we had this discussion internationally, we have 2 types of fuel: drop-in and non-drop-in. Drop-in, which means that you don't need to change anything in your engines, you don't need to change anything in your pipelines or infrastructure of the airports or even the tanks. So the drop-in, which is the top priority in the discussion now, is not about any changes, it's about keeping whatever we have in service as it is. So we want to avoid any cost on the current operation as well. The non-drop-in fuel is the one which is going to be a challenging one, including the hydrogen power. I know everyone is like hearing in every way about the hydrogen power. So hydrogen power, for example, is one of the examples that still under study. It's the lower priority for the aviation sector today, and the list that is published in the ICAO's website. Why? Not because it's not a promising fuel, it's not drop-in. And we are in a huge discussion with the airlines, with the manufacturers, how to reduce the cost of engine changes as well. How we can establish new dialogue with the airport developer to create new plan within the current plans that will create new facilities for the non-drop-in. So it's a topic, it's a concern globally that, for example, Boeing and Airbus and other manufacturers are engaged in that. There's a huge deals already signed. There is in production needs, there's in service needs that we don't want to jeopardize the operation and kill the sector because we want to move to the cleaner energy. So sustainability, it's not just about clean or saving the environment. It has an economic pillar as well. So we are trying to be parallel in the 2 pillars, including the social pillar as well. So this is taking care of that we don't want to harm the sector. COVID was a big lesson to us, if you remember. For the first time ever, especially in the UAE, all the fleets were grounded, and we don't want to see that picture again. So we as negotiators, we make sure that it's very stable, it's very gradually moving, and it's not going to harm the in-current service fleets on the ground as well. So be assured that we are taking care of it.
That's good news. Thank you.
Thank you both of you, and I'm so happy that we have different stakeholders together on stage, and we are really having a great dialogue here. So let's talk about women's representation in aviation, I think, especially because both of you are females, I think we should dive into this topic as well, at least touch base. So a few days ago, we had a school trip to an end, and we visited a composite component manufacturing facility. And the number of women we saw there, like we were all struck in awe, mashallah. So from your experience, what do you think has improved the representation of women in different sectors within the aviation field, engineering, management, even those jobs that are mostly perceived as a male-dominated work?
You see, aviation is not anymore male-dominated fields. This is a long time. Yeah? It's all about awareness. It's all about to show what we have in the region, such as Emirates Aviation University and the others in the industry, providing license certificate for the aviation. Number one. Number two, to show them what opportunity for the future job. Because anyone want to study anything, the first things you think about how much are you going to gain money afterwards. Because money is priority in life. We cannot tell that, no, I'm care about the education. That's not true. To be in real life, you think about money. Money because give you the opportunity to live a good life, and then to think about your hobby, your family, your traveling, you buy a nice stuff, etc. So money is priority. In aviation, you can make a good money. In aviation, you could live a good standard life. But to do that, you need to study first. And the study is costing, is not cheap. Aviation, one of the industries worldwide, the education is costing, is not cheap. Women in the region, not only in the Arab world, I can tell worldwide, they know that aviation is the future, because aviation is not a luxury thing, it's a necessity. Now you cannot move from one point to another point unless you're using aircraft. Think about what happened during Corona. The entire world is stopped. Why? Because there's no flights. You cannot travel. You cannot move from one place to another place. But at the other hand, see what happened with the vaccine. We get the vaccine very fast. Why? Because there's an aircraft. So aircraft, aviation is a necessity, not it's a luxury. Women can do this. Why? Because education in aviation is need a brain, not a muscles. It's all about awareness. Wherever you go as a woman, talk about aviation. Tell them that aviation have the opportunity. It's good to learn about aviation for the university. They should have a lot of this discussion on a monthly basis, inviting schools, not university, invite schools on their last high school so they can have more information about the aviation. They can understand what they have in the country as an opportunity. I like the idea of visiting you for the school and talk about the aviation in the school. Tell the girls, even the boys, about the aviation. Tell them that the aviation is not only to be a pilot or flight attendant. There is plenty of tasks and roles in the aviation, from air to the ground. It's a multi of them. Whether you like science or mathematics, or you like to be exactly. So you have all the options. It's up to you. But it's our role, and your role, and Maryam's role, and our friends here role to talk about it more. Right?
Thank you so much. I'd like to ask, how do you think mentorship and networking is important, and what role it plays to advance the career of anyone, whether man or woman, in the aviation industry?
Let me first actually go back to the same point of women's in the aviation. I'm also a member of the international working group of the women's in aviation, the ICAO as well. It's a global topic, it's not an issue anymore, as Maryam said. Today, it's not about limiting your education even. I started as an oil expert, chemical and petroleum engineer, to see where I am today. At the heart of the aviation environment discussion as a politician. I started as an engineer at the airport, and I moved to the policy side of the topic, and now an international policy maker. So sometimes there's a misperception in the aviation sector that they have to be in this kind of universities to be in the aviation sector. No. This sector precisely is a big community, as Maryam said. You can be a journalist, you can be an artist in the aviation, you can be a fuel producer, you can be a ground handler, you can be an administrator, financial. Today what we are lacking, the real expertise and capable ladies, with all respect to the men as well, I have lots of colleagues or brothers here, that take the risk and equip themselves with the right skills and tools, not the labs tools, the international tools. We need ladies who step on the stage, represent the state. Honestly, I don't have a second person as a female in my group generally. I'm trying to build a second generation, but every time they steal them to other sectors. So, because we are few, we are very unique, we are now demanded within the state and internationally. We are paid high, by the way. Today, our salaries is very high. We have one of the biggest packages because the celebrities and so on. So again, it's not about what you study, because you are, inshallah, you will graduate soon. But it's not about what you study in the university, it's what you are investing in yourself to be in the future. So you might start as an aircraft engineer or aerospace engineer or avionics, whatever is the title, but you might end up in a different area which is totally away from what you have studied. And you never know, it's a circle. Sustainability is about circle, it's a circle. Yes, and you go back to where you have started. When I moved from the oil sector, I was very sad, honestly. I was crying in the airport that I left the field that I love. And from 2018, when I was leading the aviation fuel discussion and the new processing of the jet fuel, and working very close with Aramco and ADNOC, this was a lesson learned that you never know what Allah has made for you in the future. So don't be afraid of taking the risk. Go out of your comfort zone. Don't just be limited with the thing that I want to work in the hangar in the future. That's it. No. We don't want you just to be in the hangars. We want you to, as you go, you learn. You go out of this comfort zone. I don't want the aviation engineers after 20 years to be aviation engineers. I want them to be in the top rank of the sector. We want them to be leading internationally. So UAE is let me say about UAE only. UAE is leading the aviation sector internationally. We are not anymore a receiver, we are a game changer. So we want the new generation, and by the way, there is another initiative as well by ICAO called the Future Aviation Generations. So try to join these kind of groups and understand what's happening abroad. Make sure that your reading is not just your books. You're reading a lot about what's happening around you. You are understanding what the politicians are deciding, what's happening in the UN, what's happening in the ICAO, the IATA, in your state as well. So this is the way where we can move the females from one stage to another, as well as the males, my brother said. We need everyone to be in this journey. And I'm sure you heard the new announcement of the Al Maktoum Airport, it's going to be the biggest airport in the world. So imagine how many jobs we are creating for the females and males. Imagine top leadership position that they will create. So please consider this journey as a journey, or the university as a kick-off for you to be one of the top leaders in the world. And it will happen, you never know. When I stepped the first day in the Dubai airport, my office was in the hangar, not the hangar, the other side, I was in the runway. So my office is in Bravo 13, and I was telling myself what I did to myself, why I moved from a sector that I'm very well known of it, to a sector that I have zero knowledge. In 2010, I had zero knowledge in the aviation environment. And it was my decision to go back or continue this journey. So when I decided to continue, I knew that there was a lot of learning journey that I had to take, lots of challenges. People were not listening to me that time. They were kicking me out of offices. So with that time, I decided to learn. So the first thing I learned, like Aisha, what she did, she was Googling what we were doing. I Googled aviation environment, and the first thing came on my page was the Committee of Aviation Environment Protection Environment Report of 2007. And I was reading all these scientific papers without any understanding. Alhamdulillah, I didn't understand anything that time. And that committee was like lots of names from everywhere in the world, and it was like, mashallah, they are genius. And we'll never see these people. Today I'm the vice chair of the same committee. And imagine, I became a vice chair after 14 years. And for the last 4 years, they were trying even to push me to be the chair. But I'm not taking things in Russia. I need to transition as a vice chair to be the chair of that committee. It's not an easy committee, and I hope one day, inshallah, you will be in this committee. We have 11 working groups. Everything we studied in the aviation are there. You can see the manufacturers, the operations, the ATC, the airport operations, the scientists who we have the long-term inspiration group, we have aviation group, everything we study in the aviation is there. So these 11 groups are shaping the future. We had yesterday a big meeting, long meeting for the future of the aviation, the 2050 net zero that will be near everywhere. How can we achieve 2050 net zero? Did we do any good job in the last 14 years? So we are studying what we have done in the last 14 years. So the number of formulas that I saw yesterday, number of methodology I saw yesterday, it's a lot of things happening. So aviation is changing. It's not going to be anymore what you have seen. It's transitioning to a new era of a new future, cleaner future, inshallah. So this is just my insight of that. I forgot now Aisha what she asked me. So you need to repeat your question.
You almost like actually answered one part of the questions. Would you like to share some advice you got from your mentor or your senior professional in your field, which actually helped you a lot?
I didn't have one. I didn't have any mentor in my field. I didn't have a mentor. When I joined the aviation sector, I was a founder of Aviation Environment. So no one was there, female or male. No one was understanding what I'm talking about. I had a very limited experience from the oil sectors. But in aviation, no one was talking about the environment at that time. So all my bosses and my top leaders, they've been saying that you will lead, you will follow. So it's changing. So that's why I became a founder and a game changer. So sometimes you will be trapped in a place that you never know that you will be there. And you need to take the risk to create and build the infrastructure for the state. So I'm so proud I took that risk and to become today the founder. And even my director today keeps saying to me that you are one of the unique expertise in the world. You are one of the few. And these words are not just to make you happy. It's a responsibility. So unfortunately, I had mentors in another area, the leadership area, which I really admire. I had the good people in my life that they keep pushing me to be something that I never planned for. So in aviation world, no mentorship, but in leadership, yes. To be a politician, yes. I had a number of people in my career. I don't want to mention specific names because they are many. From different levels, even from juniors, the officers I've been learning from them. Yesterday I hired or appointed a lady from ADNOC. She's going to be the UAE team lead for the long-term aspirational goal, methodology and reporting system, the new challenge that we are facing. And she's a scientist. She just joined ICAO for I think 3 years now, and we are pushing her to be a leader for the aviation sector. So Hani yesterday was attending with me the meeting, and I was mentoring her how to be a leader for the UAE team. So this is kind of things that I'm proud that I've been learning how to be a mentee and today to be a mentor to others. This is kind of learning that we want to share with you. Today, Hani is an expert that I'm learning from. I'm pushing her to be a leader, but honestly, from a scientific perspective, she's better than me. So learn always to respect even the small member in your group, the new joiners, because always they will be a catalyst for you to support you in your international goals as well. So I'm so proud that I have new joiners, scientists, that they keep teaching me the formulas which I forgot for a long time again. But she's one of the good examples that I had just yesterday happened here.
Thank you so much.
I have a mentor.
Yes, please share.
I have a mentor, my brother, and I get him crazy sometimes, actually all the times, because I ask too many questions. And when I struggling with anything, I call him. And when I have a problem, I call him. And always he push me to get into my goals in a proper way. So you should have a mentor. Mentor is very good. Mentor, whether it's friends or teacher or one of your family members, you should have a mentor. It's very good. And also you should have a leader. Leader is very good, but you need to make sure you have a good leader, because leader, they are the one who take your hands and raise you up. That's very important. Now regarding the Women in Aviation program for mentorship and internship, this is one of the things we've been working from day one since 2013. We work with the corporate companies, we work with the universities and training center, and we always ask for them to give us an opportunity for scholarship, mentorship, or internship. It's very important, especially I think the internship. Why internship gives you the opportunity to see the true life in a way before you go inside this job. So they put you in the environment and you see the life in a true way. That's very important. This one of the things we always work on it, and once we have the opportunity, we immediately announce it in our email to our members so they can participate to it. Yes.
Thank you. This is actually a great example of partnerships between the academic sector, the corporate sector, and also like very important facilitators like Women in Aviation, who are and we're really grateful for all these efforts. You are making it happen. So all of you, I think we should make the most of the opportunities we are being given by the government, by the regulatory bodies, by organizations like Women in Aviation, and also within the university, and so much more. You talked about something really important, consumer behavior, at the beginning of this panel discussion. I would request you to shed some more light on consumers' behavior and their preferences and the role they play in shaping the sustainable aviation practices, especially in UAE or Middle East in general.
Regarding the human resource or regarding the moral of the human? That's a big difference. Usually human, they need to be trained well. They cannot guide by themselves. So the training coming first from the school, from the parents, then university, then they are ready for their role in the business, whether they are running a company or they are employee in the company. So from the beginning, there should be a guidance. And through this guidance, that should be idea of sustainable. Sustainable, especially in the art world, still something very new and need a lot of work. I think couple of years, Dubai International Airport stopped using all the plastic cup and everything on the what do you call it, restaurant inside the airports. And also they confirmed all the airline not to use any disposable plastic things on board the aircraft. So this initiative is come step by step. You cannot push all the regulation for the new stability without gradual step by step. And I think Maryam is well aware about this because one of the things they are working on that they educate the airline, the airport, how to move in this path, correct? I'd like to hear more about it. Seriously, I tell you why. For me, I'm coming from a commercial side. Any new regulation that's being cost for me. So I need to get ready for it, whether it's going to happen now or next year. So I need to get ready for it and make sure that all my tools is ready to implement that new change. So I'd like to hear this one.
So, as a government, we don't push things, as Maryam said. It's always stakeholders engagement is very important for us. So it's a teamwork. So when we decide to create any or initiate any policy or regulation with regard to the environment, behavior, or sustainability, we talk to each other. So I have a big group in the UAE National Environment Committee where I sit on the right side with the aviation sector and the left side with the energy sector. So we talk to each other. We understand what's happening in the operational side and what's the financial cost when they have to adopt certain practices. So there's a lot of practices happening, and there's a document also on the ICAO website called the best practices in the aviation environment on the operational side and technology as well. You need to read about the technology improvement, what's happening in the world as well. So sometimes it's about bottom to top approach. So you don't just enforce policies or regulations and put it just on the end user to implement it and lose these markets. So we are trying to be very wise when we drive the state toward the sustainability. So it's a lot of education as well, it's a lot of awareness, it's a lot of leadership, acceptance. So when we signed Aviation Net Zero in 2022, you know how many signature I had to have that document? It's 2 pages. Just to say to the global and the Assembly of ICAO that we is committed to the net zero, I had 20 signatures, including 4 ministers, to make sure that this will happen. And even that, it will take time. We're talking about 2030, 2050. When it comes to the operation, we create a sort of documents called Environment Management System, where it tackles all the operation of the airlines, airports, ground handler, developers, everyone working with the community of the aviation. And this document doesn't happen overnight. It should also consult with the stakeholders and understand their implications, financial implications as well. So this is the way, this is the successful story that we can build. If you just create documents or regulations or policies without their endorsement, it will never happen. And believe me, it's not a safety, it's not a security issue, because these fields are centered and we don't compromise on that field. Environment is what's obvious to everyone, it's a cost-driven field. But on the long term, it's a saving cost. So everyone should be part of this journey, everyone should be engaged. So today, in 2010, we were 2 environment experts in the aviation. Today, I have each organization within the aviation, including the airlines, airports, ground handlers, airport developers, environment is in the top rank of the organization. So this is kind of behavior change that we do. It was 1 person. Today I have a group of experts in the different level. In Emirates, they announced a new structure of the aviation environment and sustainability, where they put it at the highest level of the management level, and it's all reported to the CEO as well. So these kind of changes will support the ground changes as well.
We want to work on some research on sustainability We have engineering students. We also have management students studying here who are willing to work on dissertations and other research projects. Maybe they are willing to join startups and companies in the private sector. Any advice for them? Any documentation you feel they should refer to just to get an idea of the latest updates in the field of sustainability in aviation?
There is a lot of documents on the ICAO's website, IATA's website, as well, lots of research, lots of scientific documents, huge library is there, and each document is hundreds of pages of lots of scientists and experts and operational people working on that. So go and read and connect with their community as well. You can connect. There is always emails and there is always social media. You can connect with them. Within the state, you can approach different sectors like the government, the airlines, the airports, through the training departments, and they can link you with the right people to do your research and science. I remember when I moved from the oil to the airports, the issue was that I was doing my master's degree and they had to do my research as well. So if Dubai Airports didn't support my research, I wouldn't graduate from that field. So you need to knock at the door and do your job as well and do your homework.
Thank you.
It's very good. It's very good to read. That's very good. But one thing I would say, to read is not the same when you are exactly the experience. Whatever advice I give you now, not gonna be as much once you are inside your job. There you get the experience, and there you will know how to do it in a proper way. Yes.
Thank you. Actually, this discussion is so important because this will also be broadcasted later on our social media channels. Our message will be heard by so many people, students, and even people in other sectors within the aviation sector. So I'm so proud and so humbled and honored to share the stage and be the panel moderator for this event. It's really, really a privilege, and I'm so happy I was selected by the coordinators for this really difficult role.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. We are on the trajectory of net zero carbon by 2050, and UAE, as you mentioned, is actually pioneering in the field of aviation. Could you please share some insights on the UAE's long-term vision upon a broader perspective?
So as you said, we announced the Aviation Net Zero and ICAO's Assembly Resolution in 2022, October 2022. UAE announced its own Aviation Net Zero, the same platform. Last year, in November 2023, just before the COP, we had our own aviation discussion with climate change. We had a big community coming to Dubai, including 40 ministers from the world, and we signed off and endorsed Dubai Global Framework for Aviation Alternative Fuels, including LCAS, SAF, and cleaner energy. And this is the biggest milestone endorsement happened in the history of the aviation community toward the cleaner energy. So the net zero by 2030, it's a transitioning and goal that the community agreed last year that we will reduce 5% by 2030. So the net zero declaration is a transitioning declaration. You cannot do it immediately. So we have the mid goal 2030, and we have the long-term goal 2050. So this document is also available on the website. It's a roadmap for the global aviation sector, including every single stakeholder you can think of. And it's not an easy one as well. It has 4 pillars: operation, regulations, policy, financial aspect, as well capacity building. So capacity building is one of the hardest pillars of that roadmap that we are trying to work with the different community. And we get another platform next year in the UAE to talk about the same thing. In every environmental aspect, including the net zero, finance will be the key pillar. If you remember the COP28, we started the COP28 with announcing lots of pledges that will enhance, that will encourage everyone to be on board. So Finance still is an issue globally with the region within the state that will enable us to move towards the net zero. It's not an easy path. It's nice to say I'm committed to the net zero by 2050, but when you dig to the ground, as Maryam said, documentation is easy, but operation is not easy. You need to bring a lot of changes to your sector. You need to change the mindsets of the people as well. That why we want to go to such a journey by 2050. So, as we move Aisha, the Dubai Global Framework is just endorsed by the ICAO Council, and the Committee of Aviation Environment Protection are executing this in the soon future somehow. So the action is still in the pipeline, and the state is following what's happening international. So we're so linked with the international code that we cascade the international code to the state level. So it's bottom to top and top to bottom. So be assured UAE is in the top of the agenda, and we are one of the leading states when it comes toward the net zero.
Just add a small piece. As Maria said, it's very important, the first step, change the mindset. That's number one. And after that, everything will become easy. Changing the people thinking and educate them about the environment, how much is it important to take care of the environment. That will be the first step for any changing to take place regarding the environment. Yes. I have a question.
Please. I know I can answer your question.
Yeah, actually, how far university like today we are here, they preparing for educate students about sustainable? Is there any program they're running? Are there adding courses about it?
In our university or asking about
Yes,
university?
about your university.
Okay, so we are we are the Aviation Engineering Society, and we have a council. We are actually actively working a lot on different activities, different trips, so that we can give the students maximum exposure, real exposure to the, when it comes to aviation, different aspects of aviation, whether it's like trips, air show, museums, like this, like panel discussions, so we can have direct access to industry experts. We invite high school students, even we have math competitions, innovation competitions, all associated with the aviation field. So I think we are doing pretty well when it comes to giving exposure to high school students, introducing them to the aviation field. And yes, I guess my teachers can help me even better answering this question. Right? I just hope I did justice, a little bit of justice.
I'm gonna support Margaret's question here. So let me give you an example of what we did as UAE experts. Last year, we brought 40 experts from the region, not students. But everyone is in this camp is a student. So we brought 40 experts from the region, Arab region, 22 states. Why? Because we wanted to expose them to the real aviation sustainability on ground, not lectures or book stuff. So we brought 40 experts. We created a huge program for them, including all the airports and the airlines by that time. And this program is going to happen again in November. And we took them to Emirates Airline, Dubai Airports, Masdar, Abu Dhabi Airports. It's one of the very sustainable buildings in the new airports. We took them to different areas where they saw things on ground, not in the books or lectures or the stage. So I will encourage the same practice to happen with the future engineers. We don't need engineers by book. It's not about what you read in the book, it's about what you will practice in the future. So believe that UAE is leading the sustainability or aviation environment, and it's very sad. It's sad to know that my students at the university don't know what we are doing. So please, it's a request to your teachers, to your management, knock the door. For example, Emirates, they have a huge program on sustainability. It's just close by. You can visit lots of areas that are being managed by Emirates. Do you know Bustani? Bustani. So it's one of the Emirates initiative in creating sustainable food. So lots of things happening in the state. You don't need to travel. Just create a program where students go out of the classrooms and they see what we are doing. We are fighting sometimes because we want to create the future for you. So you need to know what we are doing in reality. You never seen me before, صح? I've been in the sector for 18 years. I'm pushing everyone to work on their performance and sustainable report. Dubai Airports, they have today published third, I think, sustainability report, one of the best report in the world. The same with Etihad, Emirates Environment Report since 2010. And I'm sure the student, not everyone is keen to go and do the research. So read. It's not about what you learn about the engine inside the lab. This is not your future anymore. Everything is automated, AI is taking care of it. We need minds, we need people to understand, we need people to be engaged more. Yani. So this is our message today, be more engaged in reality.
Thank you so much once again for your advices. Any final remarks before we end this session?
Listen more than talk. And this is always my advice, because God, when He created us, gave us 2 ears, 1 mouth. Until you become at the age you can talk more than listen. So this is my advice.
Okay, if you have any questions for the panelists. You have a question? Okay.
Yeah, it's good to be engaged. You need the mic?
Assalamu alaikum. For the question I have, I'd like to introduce myself to pinpoint its relevancy more often. My name is
And I cannot hear you.
I'm sorry. I'd like to introduce myself before asking to pinpoint the importance of the question a little bit more. My name is Balawad. I'm a U.S. expat, 15-year-old high school graduate. I came here at 17 years old, currently pursuing bachelor's in aeronautical engineering. Alhamdulillah, I've been blessed to have 4 years of job experience as an automotive maintenance technician, 2 years as diesel maintenance, and 1 year in industrial parts reverse engineering and design. And I've always had a passion for mechanics and stuff and engineering for a really long time, and I've come to the Emirates to reach the peak of where all the opportunities at. From you two today, I would like to thank you so much for your experience and your advice and the opportunity to get to know what's going on the outside, and to push on to the question I had. As a first semester especially, I find a lot of doors are locked, especially at my age, being technically still a minor. Opportunities are usually out of sight, not available, and kicked off to the side and not even provided. So today I'd like to ask you, not just on my behalf, but on all my other first years and second years and third years who I've had similar concerns when I've talked to them. What connections or resources or methodologies would you recommend for us to get our foot into the door as early as possible into the real life industry, to build our career as early as possible and advance not studies and theoretical courses that have been developed hundreds of years ago, but to advance the future as early as possible, to help the world as a whole be better, and to help the country, the UAE, that has given us all these blessed opportunities for us to improve and increase our success in our life. What ways can we contribute as early as possible, I suppose is my question. Thank you.
Okay. If I understood your question very well, Yani, what's kind of soft skills that we need, beside the education that we are receiving from the university, to prepare you for the future career, صح? And very simple, يعني. So, communication skill is very crucial. Writing skill is very crucial. When when I say writing skill, because we are from Arab region, Arabic language is very important beside the English language. For those who doesn't know, we negotiate sometimes in Arabic, and this is a mandatory for us. We have an issue with languages now, because everyone is fluent in English.